All right, you guys, I am so excited. We've been sitting here chatting just out of pure excitement on what we're going to learn tonight. And I'm just beyond excited to welcome, check this out. This is Dr. Carla Burns. This is our Dr. Carla. And for those of you who don't know, Carla is actually in our upline. So there you go. We have the best of the best in this upline. And I'll never forget when I hit the rank promotion of ambassador many, many moons ago, I got to meet Carla for the first time at what we call Dash, which is the leadership event. And she presented me with a beautiful Tiffany bracelet in congratulations for that accomplishment. That was so cool. That was really my first indication. Wow, this lady's in my upline. So welcome, Carla.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Super excited to be here. So gosh, that was, I don't know, I feel like that might have been 2016, not sure, but yeah, time is just flying by.
It is. It really is. I think it was actually 2012 when we first met.
Really?
Yeah, that's dating us both. So you know what I would love is for you, before we go into all your amazing tips, and I know I provided you with the list, Carla, but if you would just give us like a snapshot of your incredible story and your tenure with It Works.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you the 60-second 15 years of my journey with It Works. Yeah. I know it's been a long time, but all of it is just incredible. Like the memories, but anyway, okay, let me give you my 60 seconds. So I actually joined this business, and you'll be able to relate to this and why I love the product so much, because I joined for the vitamin when we used to have a vitamin. So yeah, it wasn't the wrap. What caught my attention was our vitamin. I was so impressed with the quality of the ingredients in that vitamin. I didn't even hesitate. I was like, okay, sign me up. And the reason is because my upline is Cami, and Cami said, if you have a party and you just get a few customers, you will make enough to get your product for free. And that was it. That sold me. I had no goals. I had no big dream of anything that I could ever imagine that was coming for me. But I just wanted some free product. And so that's how I started. Fell in love with the product, wanted to get mine for free. Now, the rest is history. Over 14 years, of course, my goals got a little bigger. And, I tell people all the time, if your goal is $100 a month, maybe it's $300 a month. I had a very small goal in the beginning. It was $300 after I got my product for free and saw that, hey, I could make a little extra money here. It was $300. And it was $300 because I had calculated that if I budget and save $300 a month for a year, that would pay for a Disney cruise for my family. So I had set a goal. I had broken it down into little baby steps, and then I just got out there and was consistent and saved. And that's exactly what we did. We went on a Disney cruise, completely paid for by It Works. And so then, each little step that we take, I thought, okay, well, I got my product for free. I could do that. And then I could make $300 a month. That wasn't that hard. Well, what if I could actually replace my nursing income, which was probably about $3,000. I worked part-time as a nurse. So made about $3,000 a month. And that was the biggest goal for me, to really put myself out there and, take a bit of a risk and say, okay, if I could make that much, I would leave my full-time job or my part-time job as a nurse. And so I hit that goal. And then each time the goal got a little bigger and a little bigger. And so eventually I realized there really is no limit except the limits that we put on ourselves. So whatever you want, you can go after it. And so here we are today, 15 years later, still setting goals. I don't know if anyone on here has achieved your oh, he got my book. That's awesome. Krista just held it up. Anyone get their Christmas cash?
Anybody on here yet?
So close, so close. Okay. So I like to set goals like that for myself. And so especially when I have something that I'm really desiring and I say, okay, this is what I want. And corporate did just such an amazing job of here's how to get it. Simple steps, 4 + 1, 4 + 1, 4 + 1. So my daughter is going to Thailand with school. So she is going next May, and the cost for that trip is exactly $5,000. And I was like, okay, we are doing this. We are going to get that Christmas cash plus the bonuses to equal the 5,000. So I am personally 4 customers away from getting my Christmas cash. And I'm like, hands down, after they announced all of those promotions that are coming on this week, I was like, in the bag, we are doing this. So yeah,
I love that.
I will definitely have that. But yeah, so that's why this is like the perfect night to talk about products, because we're going to have so many on sale this week that we just really want to be feeling super confident to go out and say, this is why you need this product. Like this week we have the Confianzas on. So why would you need Confianza? I know that's not on our list, but all week we're going to have products that we're talking about. So let's get started talking about products. Now let me just take a look here, because I know you are looking at fat fighters versus carb control. Okay. I get this question a lot, and it's really super simple way to remember this. It's in the name. So fat fighter and carb control. So which one is for which? Obviously, fat fighter is for fat specifically, and carb control is for carbs. So, and I know that it's a lot more than that, but that's a really easy way. If someone says, well, which one's for which? Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, it makes so much sense. It's on the bottle. Then it's so easy to remember. So, so fat fighter, yes, fat fighter. If you're eating a fatty meal, take the fat fighter. If you're eating a high carb meal, take the carb control. Can you take them both together? Yes, but you just take them at a different time. So fat fighter is to be taken before you eat. So as you're starting to eat, take it with that first bite. And then carb control, you want to take that about 30 minutes before. So you would take the carb first. So let's say you're having, burgers and fries. It's greasy, but it's also high carb. You could take both. So take the carb control about 30 minutes. If you're going to a restaurant, take it on your way there. Then when you get there, you get your food in front of you, then take the fat fighter. So the fat fighter, it's meant to be taken with the food, because what it's doing, it's acting like a sponge. It's a fiber. And that fiber comes from a cactus plant called Neoputia. And that, these are the types of things that it's good for you to know, but you don't need to explain that to your potential customer. Just tell them it's like a fat sponge. So when you eat it, it literally soaks up some of the fat from your meal. And then, I think someone is asking me something. Up to an hour. Or are you getting those questions, Rhonda? You want me to?
Yes, actually, well, Krista had just come in and said she thought that you had to wait to take fat fighters after the meal, which is what we had historically kind of talked about, like 15 minutes to an hour after. But you're saying we can actually take it right with our meal. Is that right? And up
yes.
an hour?
Yes. Okay. So that's actually incorrect. What she just said is in that, and I can see how that could get confusing. It's actually, you have up until an hour. So let's say you forget to take it at the first bite, you have an hour, but ideally you want to take it right when you start that meal.
Okay, awesome. So good to know. And I love the idea that it's a fat sponge. Like I just have a light bulb moment here after 10 years. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Remember, we used to do the little experiment where we would put it in the water and you'd see the fat literally attract to it. So it's like a sponge. And fiber does that. So the great thing about fiber too is it's going to attach to that fat, but then it's also going to help bulk up your stool. So it's not really like, it's not like a laxative. So you don't have to worry about, it's white pants approved, but it will help with digestion. So sometimes you eat that big fatty meal and you're just feeling like afterwards. But if you have the fat fighter, it really helps to move that along and, help you feel less bloated when you eat it because it's absorbing some of that fat. So it does have a little bit of carb blockers in it, but really if you're going for the big carb meal, use the carb blocker. So let's talk about the carb blocker. Carb blocker is meant to be taken about 30 minutes before because it is preparing your body to, and it's a seaweed. So this seaweed algae is preparing your body to better absorb the carbs. So think of it like this, it's not going to block the carbs. It helps to slow down how those carbs are processed. Because if the carbs are balanced and they're slower to digest, then you don't get a spike in insulin. Because that's the key when you are trying to prevent gaining weight, whether you're eating carbs or fat or just on any diet. The secret is balancing your blood sugar, because your blood sugar is that is the key that's either going to unlock your fat cells, tell them to turn on, tell them to burn, or it's going to tell them to shut down and not to burn. So if you get a spike in insulin, it literally tells your fat cells, hold on to all of the fat, because we have a spike in insulin, so we need to hold on to all of the fat. But if you're taking a product like Carb Control, it's kind of like it sent the signal ahead and said, we're going to be okay. She's about to eat carbs, so keep the engines running and we're good. We're just going to burn these off slowly. So it's like that. It sends the signal to your body so that it keeps your blood sugars balanced.
Wow, that's so good. I'm taking notes as you're speaking, and I will go back and revisit this again just so I can make sure I have all the right words to say, because on Friday we do have Fat Fighters that'll be on our Doorbuster sale, which is so cool. And honestly, I was just talking to another group earlier about doing that Fat Fighter demo, like in our stories or on our wall. Like now is the time, like tomorrow is the day, y'all. Why don't we all just commit to do that demo and get it in our stories or on our wall in preparation, get some attention going so that we have lots of conversations and we can let people know that they can pick it up for that discount. I mean, that's a life-saving product. So thank you so much for that. Great clarification.
Yeah. And that's a great idea to do that. Do the reels, do the video with the Fat Fighter demonstration in the water, because I remember, back in the day when we first started, we did a lot of parties and we would sell Fat Fighters to every single person the minute we did that demonstration, because it's visual and they're like, oh, aha, that's exactly what I want that to happen in my body. So that actually I might steal that and do that myself. So that's a great idea.
Better together. I love it. No, that's super. And then just to have that clarification too on the other end with Carb Control. Excellent. I know we're all learning a lot. Okay. So what's next for us, Carla?
All right. What do we got next? So looks like the skinny tea. So skinny tea is really, when you think about skinny tea, you think, oh, is that a weight loss product? But it's actually not. It helps to debloat. So debloat. Now that, say you eat a big meal or something just doesn't, digestion after, in the evening, you just don't feel, it feels heavy and you feel bloated. The reason why skinny tea works to help to debloat is it has digestive enzymes, and it also has the ingredients that help to digest your food. Like literally, it's meant to be a tea after you eat a heavy meal so that it helps to support the liver. So, and really that's what it is. Really, if you think of it more of a digestive tea rather than a weight loss tea.
Perfect. That's really helpful.
Yeah. And then we'll have reds on here. So you wanted to know a little bit about reds.
Yeah.
So reds, if you think about the color red and your blood, the blood needs what's called nitric oxygen. And so you might, maybe if you have husbands or you yourself have used something called NO2 or NO Explode, they take this product before they work out because it increases the amount of oxygen that's in the blood. Now you can do this with supplements, but beets are the #1 natural way to get an increase in this NO2. So nitric oxide. And that's what you want in your bloodstream to help carry oxygen. And it's super important, especially now, you know, we're heading into cold and flu season, and we really want to protect our red blood cells because your red blood cells are so important. They are what carry the oxygen. And if you don't have enough oxygen in your blood, you're going to start to notice things like a couple of things that you will notice right away if you don't have enough oxygen in your blood is your hair will be thin. So your hair, because oxygen has to oxygenate the hair follicle and it gives you nice, healthy hair. So that's one way you will tell if you're not getting enough oxygen. The other way is, do you ever feel like you're just pale or you don't have that nice rosy glow? That's because you don't have enough oxygen, or maybe your lips seem a little purple. That is lack of oxygen. So the one way that we can get this back into our body is with the beets, but not just the beets. I mean, it's filled with polyphenols, and those are kind of like phytoestrogens, which come from green plants. But polyphenols are like the super antioxidants of fruits, or like the reds and the purples. And so it's filled with antioxidants and those polyphenols, but also the beets, which really target those red blood cells. Now, we don't want to share that with our customer, like talking about red blood cells and things like that. So what could we say to improve maybe it's tricky when it comes to these, because like I want to tell them all the science, but when it comes to your client and someone that you're, you know, wanting to offer the reds to, I would just suggest this is a great product to take before you work out. It has a lot of benefits for people that are exercising because you're increasing your oxygen, and then that's going to help them know when to take that. But also, I do believe we can talk about the antioxidants. So the benefits of fruits and vegetables, we can talk about that all day long. So the antioxidants, but just so you know, thinking about the color red, and it's specifically going to benefit the red blood cells.
Wow, that's fascinating to me. I had no idea. Again, you know, we represent these products and don't necessarily know how they work, which is the beautiful part of what we do. But I feel so empowered to have this additional information. So I know everybody's taking notes. I'm watching all these little heads down. So awesome. Okay, so what about sleepy tea? Like, what can you share with us about sleepy tea specifically that would kind of empower us to have more conversation?
Yeah. If it's okay, I'm going to tell you one more thing about the reds, because in my journey of becoming a naturopath doctor, I studied a lot of traditional Chinese medicine and the energetic properties of food. So everything around it, we're all made of energy. Everything is energy, specifically foods and living foods. So the different colors of different foods have different properties energetically. So if you are needing to be what they call grounded, so you need like that comforting or just that grounding, beets, because beets are grown in the ground, they're really great for nourishing. So just a little snippet of Chinese medicine in there for you. Chinese medicine, they use beets a lot in salads and soups, and so beets are super, super good for you. And especially now where it's fall, because it's also important to eat your fruits and vegetables that are in the season that they're grown. And fall is a great time to eat root vegetables.
Oh, wow. So good to know. Fascinating.
All right. So sleepy tea. Sleepy tea, it has so many benefits, not just sleep. So I think the one thing I would say about sleepy tea is let's talk about melatonin and why melatonin, because that is the main ingredient. There's 5 milligrams, which is 5 milligrams for the average person that has never taken melatonin before. You will sleep like a baby with 5 milligrams. If you take a whole sleepy tea, guaranteed a good night's sleep. So I like to tell my potential customers, see how you do with a half of a packet. Just try a half of a packet first. If they're sensitive to things like that, it's not going to hurt them at all. Obviously, 5 milligrams is the standard amount. But you will notice that if you take 5 milligrams too late at night, you might wake up a little groggy. Also, people notice that they dream. So you're going to dream more. But this is all a good thing. This is why melatonin is so good for you. I mean, they're doing studies now on melatonin, and we definitely can't talk about this with our customers, but research in things like cancer and chronic illnesses, because it's not so much the melatonin, but it's getting you into the REM sleep. And that is why melatonin and the sleepy tea is so key, because it helps you get into that restful sleep, which is where your body repairs. If you don't get into that deep sleep and you're just kind of tossing and turning all night, your body never has the opportunity to repair those cells. So when I say repair the cells, your body is actually working really hard at night. So it really needs to be in that restful sleep. It's called REM sleep. And again, how you know is you're going to dream. So if you're dreaming, that's a good thing. You are in the right state. So in that time of sleep, your body is regenerating. So your body turns over cells every single day, thousands of them. And so what happens is at night, your body it's called autophagy. Maybe you heard of that. That's why we do intermittent fasting, because at night, your body is recycling. It's taking care of all the dead cells that your body has regenerated. So your cells are dying and your cells are growing every single night. Why is that important? Because you want your body eliminating those dead cells, because what happens if they don't? Those are the cells that can potentially turn into the cancer cells or cells that cause aging or degenerative diseases. It's leaving those dead cells in your body. So if you're not sleeping, this is the main thing. If anything, all the anti-aging treatments that are out there, stem cells, all of it, if you get good sleep and you're taking something like melatonin to help you get into that sleep, you are doing more than $1,000 injection of stem cells, because your body will naturally do it if you get into that good sleep. So that's why it's so important that you get that good sleep. Your body has to be able to recycle all of the garbage, all of the toxins, and it does that at nighttime. Sometimes I have people say, I can't sleep at night, and they try the sleepy tea, still can't sleep. I ask them one question: what time do you eat? What's the latest meal that you eat? And oftentimes they'll tell me, well, I eat my dinner at 8, but then I'm a little hungry before I go to bed, so I'll eat a yogurt or I'll eat a popcorn or something. You need to eat nothing for 3 hours before you go to bed, if you really want this to be working optimally for you. Because if you think about it now, from what I just explained, your body's digesting. So if it has to digest food, it can't recycle cells. So it's really, really important, if your goal is anti-aging or fighting chronic disease or just being as healthy as you possibly can, the two main things that you can do is don't eat late at night and sleep. Drink lots of water. That would be my third thing. But if you do those, you have a much higher chance of being healthy for a very long time.
Wow. I've been watching the chat a little bit here, and I know I'm seeing a few little comments about how people love the sleepy tea, but I'm just fascinated. I had no idea. I feel like I can really have some conversations, but of course we do have to use caution. Like Carla was saying, Dr. Carla was saying that we can't talk about like medical cures and things like that. So we have to be careful in our conversations.
Yeah.
So
I would just tell people, if they say, well, why do I need sleepy tea? I would just say, well, do you wake up rested? Are you dreaming? And if they're not, then say, why don't you just try it and see how you feel? And sleep is so important for your overall health. That's what I would tell people.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you for those words.
Yes.
So good. Okay, I think the next one we had on the list was a little more information about celery. And I know we do have some of our Canadian team on here too, and they have celery in their possession now. So I'm sure everybody's eager to hear more of what you have to say about just celery.
Right. So just celery, that's a super simple one. Doesn't need much explanation. Celery is like a prebiotic. So we have probiotics and we have prebiotics. So the main benefit of celery is gut health. And gut health is super important, just like sleep, probably sleep number one, gut health number two. Gut health is because you have, if you think about all of the brain cells that you have in your brain, there's actually millions more brain cells in your gut. So your gut is more important than your brain, really. So if you have an imbalanced gut and imbalance in the bacteria within your gut, it affects you mentally, it affects your energy, it affects all of the processes in your body. So the best way that you can keep a healthy gut is by taking prebiotics and probiotics. And the easiest, simplest way to get those prebiotics first thing in the morning on that empty stomach is by taking celery. Now, sometimes I do get this question of, well, what about regular celery? Can we just eat celery? The amount of celery that you have to eat or juice to get in the same amount that we have in the powder is it's like astronomical amount. So for most people, it's just super convenient to be able to take the just celery, and you can take it on the go. I think someone asked me a question about celery. Well, we'll get the questions in a minute. So save that. I can see them here too. I'll come back to the question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, celery, that's it. It's a prebiotic and it helps with your gut health.
Okay. So Krista asked, do we really have to wait 30 minutes for coffee after celery? I think that's so cute.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, it's best if you can wait, but it's better to get the celery in than not. So I tell people that all the time. I'm like, listen, if it means that you're not going to take your celery because you want to drink your coffee, then just drink the celery and have the coffee, because you are going to get some benefit. But ideally, you do want to wait a little bit before you have the coffee, because the celery creates a pH balance in your stomach. And that's really important for that flora and the gut bacteria. So even if you could wait, like try 15 minutes, just don't drink it directly after.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay. So, and Lindsay's, or excuse me, it was Maddie was saying that when she started her celery, she said, my cravings for coffee went away and my tummy felt amazing. But after a few days, I started to get headaches. Is there like a detox that happens? Mm-hmm. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that. And I'm going to add to that my experience, and I've steered clear of celery for this reason for a while, and I need to try it again, but was bloating. I found that I was very uncomfortably bloated when I took it, but that hasn't changed. So I guess that tells me something.
Okay, well, yes, that does tell you something. So what it's telling you is there is an imbalance in your gut flora in the good and bad bacteria, because what's happening, it's actually not a detox. It's the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. They're kind of fighting with each other because they don't like this it's like a war between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And when you take the celery, it's like pouring gasoline on the fire. And if you had an overgrowth, like maybe you have candida, or there's also, you can have an overgrowth of bacteria and it doesn't have to be candida, but what happens is as they die off, because you're feeding them all of the good prebiotics now, and they give off like a gas. So that's why you're getting bloated. But if you can, were you taking the probiotic as well when you were doing that?
I believe so. It's been a hot minute, but I believe I was.
Okay.
So I would definitely need to do that, right?
Yeah, and maybe take 2, because it sounds like you might just have an imbalance there. Or just take a little bit of celery and work yourself up to it, not the full amount. So take a little bit of celery with double the probiotics until you can kind of get that balance.
Okay, that's great. And then as far as the detox goes, like, is that a typical response that people might experience? Because, if we get people started on this product and that's the feedback that we're getting, that's going to be really helpful to know. Like, is that pretty common?
Yeah. So, well, one way that we can avoid some of that is making sure that they also have our probiotic with it. So if you're going to start celery, if you want to avoid that, then they should also get on the probiotic at the same time.
That's really good to know. That's great.
Yeah, but it's not a detox. It's not like a detox when you start eliminating things from your diet. It really is that the die-off from the bacteria.
Wow. So the suffering is actually purposeful. That's a good thing, right? Okay, that's great. And Amanda had asked about the bloating or bathroom problems. Another thing. So is that the same type of thing? It's just your body responding? Okay.
Yep. Because it all has to do with because that's why each person is different. We don't know where they're at when they first start. So another thing, maybe they could get on the probiotic for maybe even, a week at least before they start the celery and just kind of prepare them, or do a cleanse, because a cleanse and the coffee, now the new skinny cold brew, that has probiotics in it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Super helpful. We still have about another 10 minutes that we can spend together. Is there any other
we can ask questions if they had the questions?
Yeah. Any other questions that you guys can think of, even if it's not pertaining to the products that we spoke about and that Carla answered tonight? Is there anything else you're wondering about some of the other products? Take advantage of this time with her expertise. Yeah, Krista.
Have you ever made gummies out of like the reds or the greens to like make like gel, like have you ever?
Yeah. No, I have not. But it sounds good.
Right? Okay. And is there any like lack of benefit if we consume them hot, or is it okay?
So hot is okay. It's when you cook or boil different things, and sometimes it actually can enhance it, but when you're talking like fruits and vegetables, it's better not to boil those, or definitely like a probiotic in the cold brew. You don't want to boil that because then you'll kill the probiotics. So fruits and vegetables have enzymes in them, and you don't want to add hot water to anything that has enzymes, because then that will also diminish oh, sorry, I got distracted looking at the question. Yeah. So you don't want to.
Okay, because I like drinking the reds hot, like for like a tea kind of thing.
Well, you're probably not boiling it if you're drinking it, right? So if you're able to drink it, then it's probably not boiling.
Okay.
That's good. Somebody else had just popped in here and said, how about Confianza? I know it's on our information sheet that we got this month in our email, which I think, by the way, is super slick. I've never seen that before. Maybe I missed it in the past, but now it's just a click of a button for that info sheet. But tell us what you can about Confianza and the benefits, and who might be a great potential to use this product. Right.
So Confianza, the ideal person for Confianza would be Someone that is super busy. So think about a mom with kids running around, trying to stay focused, got a lot going on, feeling anxious, overwhelmed. That's the person that's going to benefit from Confianza because it has a blend of what we call adaptogens, and adaptogens help your body to handle stress better. And it also helps you to focus. So if you have a million things running through your mind and you're trying to just focus on one thing at a time, Confianza will help you do that. But it also, because it's an adaptogen, it helps your body. So someone said ADHD, like that. So you just have racing thoughts, can't stay focused. Even, college kids where they have exams, just take one of those before the exam. And it helps to just clear out the clutter in your thinking. So really everybody could use that. But yeah, so specifically that type of person. Also, I've had people use it that, maybe they're just anxious to get on a plane, or, have a long drive, you're going to visit the in-laws for Thanksgiving. We used to call it our chill pill because it just kind of like, a glass of wine, how you feel, just a little bit more focused and relaxed. So, but the funny thing is you don't really feel anything except you're just like, oh, that didn't really bother me as much as it normally does.
I love that. Okay, so when it comes to, because I've heard all different kinds of things in the field over 10 years, Carla. So when it comes to taking Confianza, the dosage, I mean, there's a recommendation. I think it's like take 2, whatever, as needed type of thing. But can we take more than 2? And what's too much? And can we take it daily or is it as needed?
You can take it daily because it's an herbal blend. It's nothing non-addictive. You can definitely take it daily. You can take it once or twice a day. I see someone ask for kids, but we really don't recommend our products for kids. So if you wanted to take it to your pediatrician and show it to them, get their approval. But yeah, we don't want to recommend it for kids. But as it says on the bottle, that's what the recommended amount is. And it's like kind of like coffee. How much coffee do you handle? Every person's different. So if 2 are working for you, then that's all you need. But if you take 2 in the morning and then by afternoon, you're still feeling frazzled, take another one because it's not going to hurt you. I mean, obviously you don't want to be popping them every hour, but once or twice a day, that's fine.
Okay, that's awesome. Gosh, something else had just popped into my head. And I know that we have to be, I know what it was. I know we have to be very careful with, obviously not offering medical advice because we, unlike you, are not a doctor. So what do you say to someone who might be taking something for their depression or taking something for their anxiety? Is this something that we can safely incorporate, or what would you recommend?
So yeah, anytime that someone is taking something that is what we call like MAOI inhibitors, or that are already, so like depression or anxiety, they're taking that type of medication, then definitely have them take this to their doctor, make sure that it's okay that they take it together. Now, most oftentimes it is, but for something like that, then yes, you definitely want them to ask their doctor.
Awesome. So good. Okay, is there anything else? Anybody see any other questions that maybe we have missed? I love that, Lindsay. Lindsay said it's the only thing that has, it just jumped. It's the only thing that's helped manage her anxiety and depression. And that's pretty impressive because Lindsay's been around for quite a few years, but it works. And I think that's really great that we have those kinds of testimonials.
Yeah. Well, it has ashwagandha in it, and there's so many benefits of ashwagandha. That's something, if you don't understand that, Google it and just know all the benefits of ashwagandha, because that is in the Confianza.
That's awesome. So good to know.
Crush it. Yes.
Krista said, what is it that makes our products bioavailable?
So the bioavailability means and they're not all bioavailable. So bioavailable means like the reds, the beets, that's something natural that your body recognizes. So that's going to penetrate into the cell. That's what bioavailability means, is that when you eat it, it's actually going to make it into your cells. And so sometimes they need to be in the natural form, or sometimes they can also be encapsulated, or like our probiotic, that's very bioavailable because of the way that it's packaged in the vegetal or the vegan capsule.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, like if you have, I mean, caffeine's technically bioavailable because it's comes from nature. So anything that's synthetic is not bioavailable. So a lot of our products do have the natural forms of celery and the beets and the greens and coffee and MCT oil. These are all things that are in their natural form. So it makes them easily digestible. That's a good way to think of bioavailable, is easily digestible.
That's so good. Okay, I see 2 more questions here that I'd like to relay, and then I have a question for you, Carla. One is, can you crush confianza?
Yes, you can.
Awesome, so good to know. And Ashley's asking, thermophyte, is it harsh on the liver or kidneys?
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be thermophyte. So the main ingredient is caffeine, and so caffeine maybe on the kidneys if a person has a pre-existing kidney condition. On someone that's perfectly healthy like you and I, then we're able to handle a lot of caffeine. But caffeine is like a diuretic, so it's just going to put more work on the kidneys. But is it going to damage the kidneys? Then I would say no, it's not.
Yeah.
And then the liver, when you think about the liver is the biggest role of the liver is to process fat and toxins. So thermophyte itself is caffeine. It's caffeine, and it's the capsimax, which is peppers. So they're not, I think the question, did she say, will it damage your liver or kidney?
Is it harsh on the liver or kidney?
Harsh on them. No, I would say, if anything, it would affect your stomach more because of the peppers. Because some people, if you're sensitive to that, you might get like a little indigestion if you don't take it with food.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to slide one more question in there. Lindsay said, best products for someone with fatty liver.
Okay. Well, I would say the greens, because fatty liver is an accumulation of toxins, and my brain kind of flipped over to Chinese medicine and I'm thinking, what really causes the liver to be fatty or sluggish? And that's more an emotional thing. So it's not really, when you think about a fatty liver, that's an accumulation over time of a lot of mental stress that causes the liver to become stressed and to not be able to process toxins, which emotional thoughts are toxic. So that was another little side note there. But a person that has liver is oftentimes holding anger, resentment, and jealousy.
Oh, that is so powerful. And I honestly just find Chinese medicine so fascinating. It's so different than Western medicine. I love this. Carla, I'm going to finish off with one more question. I know the questions could continue to come, but I want to make sure that every one of us that is getting on this next Zoom has an opportunity to get on, because it'll max out. But what would you say is your favorite, your number 1 or 1 and 2 product in our It Works product line right now?
So I love the collagen. That's probably my favorite product of all. I like our skincare. Really, the collagen. If I could only pick one product that I would just not be able to do without, I really love the collagen. And I love the collagen, the taste of the collagen, but all of the benefits of collagen, and especially our collagen, because our collagen has all 5 different types of collagen. They really formulated this right in putting the extra vitamin C. They added zinc and selenium. So it really truly is like a beauty enhancing product, but it also has the benefits for your gut health and for your joints. But it's the taste. It's just, I love it. It's so yummy. You just don't get bored of it.
That's so true. And I've turned so many people onto that. Just with my personal testimonial was I was excited to take it for the anti-aging effects. And then it was probably 7 to 10 days after I started where I was getting out of bed in the morning and realizing that I no longer had aches and pains when I got out of bed. And it was like a miracle for me. So I love turning people onto that product. It's no wonder it's your favorite. I love it. Is there a number 2 product? A second on your list?
Number 2. So we just came out with the sugar cookie keto coffee. That tastes amazing. So if you want something sweet for the holidays, it's so good. And I add extra heavy whipping cream in mine. When I tried it, it's really, really good. So, and just sugar cookie coffee, it just sounds like everybody wants this. It's amazing.
It is so cute. And I have to tell you, I think this is so fun because I learned something about you tonight. You're all about the flavor.
Well, if it doesn't taste good, who wants to take it?
I know. That's so true. Carla, it has been such a blessing for all of us to have you tonight. Thank you so much for offering yourself up and for accepting this evening to get in here right before we have this huge opportunity to make connections and enroll people and just continue to build our customer base and volumes. This is so cool. I really appreciate you.
You are very welcome. So go out there this week and take advantage of all the knowledge that you just gained and all of those sales that we're about to have for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yes, girl. Yes. Thank you so much. We'll see some of you on the Diamond Call, including you, Carla.
Okay.
Thanks so much. See you guys soon. Bye.